Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel. If you're watching again, thank you so much, and if you're new, please remember to subscribe, like, and do share. So today's video is gonna be a sit-down video, and I would like to speak about the pros and cons of studying architecture. Again, this is all based off of my experience and my knowledge of how it's been going so far for me. So let's get into the video. Okay, so let's begin. Architecture for me this far has been amazing. I've had some really good times and some really bad times, but all in all, it's a very good course. You will definitely have to sacrifice a lot. I mean, the minute you choose to study architecture eventually becomes your life. You hardly have time to just do basic things, I have to plan everything ahead in order for me to stay on course. But anyway, that aside, I think I would like to start with the negatives and end with the positives, end on a high note. So the cons, I will try and minimize them because honestly I do not want to demoralize anybody from studying architecture. So I will give few cons, and majority of what I will be speaking about will be positive. So the most common thing that I'm gonna address and that everybody speaks about that's studying architecture is how expensive it is. Oh my goodness. It's not that it's expensive per se, but the material we need to use in order for our projects to be close to perfect or really good are pricey, and you must be willing to sacrifice. So majority of the money goes to printing, and I mean printing is weekly, so you know that every week you're going to be spending a certain amount plus, depending on the requirements and the subject itself. We also do a lot of hand modeling, model makings. We do a lot of model makings, and so in order for you to do that, you need to buy material. It's a lot, but it's quite expensive honestly in comparison to other courses. The second thing that I'm gonna speak about is the no sleep culture. Oh my gosh, this is so real. I think the longest I've gone without sleeping has been 3 days, and the day I slept, oh my gosh, I literally passed out. I think I know somebody that literally did not sleep for a whole week. Do I regret it? No. Is it healthy? No. But I had to finish my work. It was important, therefore I had to sacrifice sleeping to get the project, and it was worth it in the end. However, I do find that when we do complain about time, the teachers are not the most understanding. It's more of I studied architecture, so I've been where you are and you have it easy, blah blah blah. But it's it's not the same, just because you did it does not mean I want to do it. But anyway, that aside, literally we have these talks with our teachers sometimes when they get concerned. They're okay, what's the problem? But the minute you mention time, they it's a no. You have to figure it out. To them it's more of make your sacrifices and you will have time. You have time to go out, do this, do that. But it's that's not true though, because literally the minute you finish one assignment, another one is waiting for you. The third thing that I'm gonna speak about is how demanding it is. Like I said, eventually architecture does become your life, because we literally get 8-hour classes. We have 8-hour classes, yeah, but we get a 10-minute break every hour, and so that means there is no break in between. Sometimes some people get an hour break, but that's if you're lucky. Sometimes we get 6-hour classes and 4-hour classes. If you're lucky, 2-hour classes, and that's only if it's history or something. History, physics, yeah, I think it's a 2-hour class. But when you get courses like design and integrated, that's when you jump into the 6 and 8-hour classes. And the last thing that I'm gonna speak about, but I will not go into detail about it because, well, I don't want to be too negative, but we literally have the worst teachers. In brackets, rude lecturers. I have never encountered doubts that want to break you down so bad. On the one hand, I take it as, okay, these people are being hard on you because they want you to work hard, but some lecturers honestly are just mean. But to make myself feel better sometimes, I'm just like, you're just old and cranky. I will take your opinion, I will take what I can, use it to get a better project, and that's that. I keep it moving. Some days are better than others, but at the end of the day, you know, you're here to prove yourself to some extent, you know. They're looking at you as, are you capable of doing the same thing that you're here to do, or are you in the wrong department? You know, some teachers will literally tell you like, I don't think you should be studying architecture, or you're in the wrong department, and whoa, thank God nobody ever said that to me. I think I would crumble if that happened to me. Anyway, so lucky one. I will now move on to the positives. So the positives, the first thing that I will speak about is just being in an environment where you are able to conceptualize your ideas and your thoughts, and then just bringing them to life. So they give you this like space to be that. For example, your concept could be water, teardrops, anything, and in class it makes so much sense. Everybody gets it, they get your vibe, because you're in a classroom filled with so many creative people and you have to stand out. That's the point. And everybody is so accepting of ideas, like you're not looked at like in a weird manner for thinking in that realm. Whereas you leave the classroom and people are asking you about your project, for example, people in different departments, and they question your ideas simply because they're unable to understand what it is you're doing, or how it is you're going to draw inspiration from the certain thing. So basically just fitting in and being able to conceptualize your ideas. The second thing I'm going to speak about, that's a positive, is you learn how to manage your time and money, because our timetables are quite hectic, and depending on how many courses you're taking, so regardless though, you still have to manage your time, because literally you have submissions every other day, due every other time. So in order for you to finish and make sure that your work is actually good enough to get you a good grade and for your satisfaction, you literally have to plan out when you're going to do what, how you're going to do it, where you're going to get your material from, what kind of material you're going to use. So everything needs to be thought through before you can actually begin your project. Aside from that, we do get like group projects and stuff, and so in as much as you may have your like own like courses, sometimes you have your timetables may clash with your friend. Say I want to meet up but you have class, I need to sacrifice, for example, and wait for you to finish, that way we can meet up and do the project. But you also have to think about when the project is due, so sacrifices again have to be made. In terms of managing money, I hate to say this, but I'm the type that will literally waste money on material. I used to be the type, like each time they critique my like physical model, I immediately destroy it whenever I get home, and I buy more material and I remake it. But I learned how to recycle, and I learned that just because they hate it does not mean they want you to change the entire thing. Perhaps they just mean develop it. So that does not mean I should get home and trash the whole project. Okay, so studying architecture is definitely going to help in building your confidence. Why? Because majority of the courses that we take require you to get up front, do a presentation, speak, explain your ideas. But it's definitely crucial for design, because in design you literally have to stand there. People are going to judge your work and you have to defend your ideas. I think the toughest thing aside from defending your idea is most probably being able to explain your idea and having the jury members see what it is you are speaking about. Because if it does not translate, well, then you have failed. Not failed per se, but you're failing to show them what you see, so it's hard for them to judge you if they cannot see what you are seeing. I hope that makes sense. Again, lots of presentations, so you always have to be put together. You need to know what you're speaking about. And yeah, the next thing that I'm going to speak about is, in architecture, you are forced to develop different types of skills. And so in as much as you may be studying architecture, that does not mean you're only going to learn how to make plans, elevations, or sections and such. That means that, well, you will learn things such as videography, documentation, presentations, as well as like learning new softwares. For example, AutoCAD, 3ds Max, Lumion, SketchUp. Whatever you find easy, whatever you feel suits you best, you are allowed to use during your juries, during class. It's all permitted. Again, that's what I like about it. So in as much as I may be studying architecture personally, I can switch from this to studying or working in a different field later on, which I highly doubt, but it's an option, so I like that. Number 5 of the cons. I think I'm at number 5 now. Architecture is very interactive. And those that know me know that in as much as I may interact, like every now and then, I'm the type that goes to class for class. So you hardly see me mingling or speaking to people and any of that. Yeah, if I know you well enough, I will do that. But we do have tons of group projects, literally so many group projects. And towards the beginning, I absolutely hated group projects, but I learned to like them. Group projects force you to meet people, find people, because majority of the times the people that you are working with today might be the people you work with like a semester ahead or even a year later, you know. So meeting the right people is important. You are forced to have a voice, in the sense that if I do not like something that's happening with the project, I need to speak up. Because at the end of the day, most of the times actually, we receive the same grades. It's rare at times where you find that it's a group project and everybody is getting a different grade based off of the work that they did. But I also learned that if you're the group leader, well, you're always safe. That's number 1. So I do that a lot. You're always safe and you get to determine what happens. For example, some of the teachers will be like, okay, send me a list of your names and tell me who the group leader is. And if you're the group leader, you get to tell them who's working on what and who did what. But at the end of the day, you are always safe. So be smart when it comes to picking your groups, who you're working with, how you do it, and who's managing what. I have, unfortunately, I will say this with pride, I have sometimes found myself in groups and I literally did all the work, so I ended up falling back in my grades. And then I've been in a group, happened once actually. Oh, this is so humiliating. I literally joined a group, and first of all, I was the only female in that group. It's a normal thing because majority of the students are guys, and at the time I was in a and so we had to use, I think, certain softwares to do the work. Oh my gosh, by then I hardly knew how to use the softwares and they ended up doing all the work. But then in my defense, I was still willing to do the work, and I did do a little bit here and there, but majority of the work was done by them. And I did explain to them that I was not that great in the softwares. I did do the work and I did show them. Some were dissatisfied and just opted to do the work, but at the end of the day, we got a good grade. Oh yes, another thing about group work that I actually like is that because you're filled in a classroom that's filled with like creative people, you have to stand out, and that means that every single person in that classroom is gonna tackle the problem in a different way. So when you get into like groups, everybody has to express what they want to do, how they're gonna do it. You get people that know what to do and want to do it quickly. You get people that do absolutely nothing. I was once there, but not by choice. And then you get people that just, once you add them to the group and they disappear. You know, such is life. But anyway, as long as the job is done. Otherwise, group work is not so terrible. Learning from other, oh yes, again, you're able to learn from other people in groups. The thing about architecture is you cannot rely too much on the teachers to spoon feed you or to like tell you every single thing. Majority of the time you have to go back home, do the research, and then apply it to your project. Once you do that, you get your critiques, you continue on and on and on. If you do have friends that are like maybe higher than you, or friends that can just give you critiques here and there, why not? Even better. So during these group works is when you get to meet people and just do your thing. So yeah. The last thing that I'm gonna, oh, not the last thing, second last thing I think. The thing that I'm gonna speak about is being able to travel. This is probably the best thing for me. I like the fact that majority of the time it's usually in design. Every semester we get a new site. Usually they'll give you the design brief and then they'll give you a location. If they do not give you a location, they'll just give you a name of, say, an example, a restaurant, and they just say, oh, your location is in the next town and it's next to this restaurant, and you have to navigate your way and get to the location because you have to analyze the sites and all that cool stuff. For me, oh my gosh, I'm proud of myself, you know, like for me personally, I rely on Google Maps. So if I do not know where I am going, I just take the map and I get on public transport and I go. Just exploring the site, seeing what's around and all that, I really like that. I think even just the sites themselves, they really put thought into it because, just being able to move from one place to another place to another place to another place, exploring different towns or cities wherever the location is, just finding your way there. Sometimes I do go by myself, sometimes I do go with some friends, depending again when everybody is free. So I enjoy that. You get to explore and really just find these beautiful and new places. Keep in mind, of course, you're going for the site, but yeah. Another thing that I do love, another con, let me put it that way. Another con is how flexible or diverse architecture is. So architecture, you know, our courses vary from like technical drawings to painting outside, painting indoors, or listening to classical music. And then it's gonna switch up and take you all the way like through physics and math. And so it's like there's so many layers to architecture. Like it's a different vibe in, okay, not vibe, it's a different experience in each class that you go to. For example, like I speak about the classical music and all that. I remember in I think my first year, like literally you could go to class and the teacher is like, oh, you can watch a movie, you can listen to music, whatever inspires you. And I'm just like, anyway, amazing. So it's like they create an environment that's so open to you getting inspiration and getting what you need to get you to where you need to go. And I absolutely love that. So if you are thinking about studying architecture, I personally recommend it, but I will not sugarcoat the fact that it is intense in terms of how demanding it is. And if you enjoyed watching this video, thank you so much. I hope you like it. Do subscribe, do like, share, and I will be sharing more content with time. So I hope to see you again in the next video.